Yeah. Okay. Are we getting into this now?
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into this. Now, you mentioned talking about. Sorry, you're talking about the stream. You know, might still be into what game was it? You said you might still be into
Oh, Elden Ring. Just came
Elden
out.
Ring. Now, is that any good?
It's very good.
It's very good. I'm gonna play some B-roll, Prude, and I'm just gonna let you talk.
Okay. Well, so I number these clips. I see you're starting with number 1 here, which is good because that's the order I filmed them in. So this just shows you quickly there's a day-night cycle. I just changed the time there from whatever to whatever. The circle indicates that. You can see behind me part of the
I
open
feel like
world.
you're getting ahead of yourself. What game are we looking at, and what is it about?
We already said Elden
I know,
Ring.
but what is it about? What is it? I mean,
well, if people have played FromSoft games before, such as Dark Souls or Bloodborne, Sekiro, or whatever, they should know it's a action combat RPG, third person, with kind of a reputation for being a little challenging, even though I think that reputation is a little bit overstated. And this is the newest iteration of that kind of formula from the company, but now it's open world. So it's kind of like if you take, Dark Souls and you put it in like Breath of the Wild or something. It's kind of like combining those two.
neat making fun of the frame rate. It's not the frame rate of the video. The video is fine. It's my fucking internet.
Although I will say that also the frame rate in the video struggles at some points because the game is legitimately kind of taxing. It's pretty high, like requires pretty high specs to run perfectly. And I was recording.
Wait, who the hell are those other guys?
Those Ghostmen?
Yeah.
Oh, you can summon ghostly companions in this.
Holy shit! You can like what the fuck was that jump slash? That was cool as hell.
Oh, the game has a jump button now, like a dedicated jump.
Oh, on God, I'm buying. I'm buying.
In previous Souls games, of course, you had to do a running jump where you'd start running and then hit a button, and it would always be kind of awkward.
Yeah, I remember.
This one you can stand in place and jump.
It was very painful.
So now there's a dedicated jump button, and that makes jumping attacks a much more common part of the attack patterns you could do.
Yeah,
I'm getting kind of fucked with here.
Yeah, you are getting kind of dabbed on.
I filmed this pretty early in the gameplay cycle. I'm a lot further now, but I'm still rusty during the time where this is being
sure.
I also started with the Wretch, which is like the hardest class to start with, and I chose no starting item. I chose for the maximum Dark Souls experience of having the least shit to start with. But anyways, I'm just showing here that you run these camps and sometimes they get alerted and they all come out. So I summon those guys to help get the heat off of me because you can summon guys temporarily for situations like that. Separately from summoning NPC companions or phantoms of other players.
Right.
What rings you got? So yeah, I'm just here clearing this camp. I mean, this part's not.
Now let me ask you a question, because this is something I've always noticed about Dark Souls game. Are these I'm not gonna say real people, but are these humans?
These characters that I'm fighting are. I mean, look. Here's the thing. I don't know a lot about the setting yet because I've been playing for like 16 hours and I still don't know what the fuck's going on in the setting because
very on brand. Very on brand.
It's like because after 3 Dark Souls games, I knew the humanoids. Okay, these are humans who went hollow because their fucking souls got lost. Blah blah blah. Like I know that, but in this setting, I actually don't know what the stakes or the teams or whatever involved are. So
that's weird. Number 2 won't load.
It won't load.
Yeah, number 2 won't load. That's weird.
That's a bummer.
Well, let's go to 3.
See that? That's interesting.
Oh, and did this not? Yeah, this is only in 360p for some reason.
Well, that sucks. What if it didn't encode right?
I don't know. We'll actually skip it too, so we can go to one that people can actually see in high definition.
Well, hopefully these ones encode.
I think it did. It's just I don't know. Google Drive is kind of shit.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, this one's. Here we go. All right. Oh, is this a boss?
Yeah, this is a very short clip where I find a dragon.
So there's mounted combat now.
There's mounted combat, and that's what I hoped one of the clips would show, but I think it was...
You just got immediately dabbed on.
Yeah, I got this guy's a much later game, so I got totally fucked on. Let me see what's going on. 1 second. I'm gonna see what's the deal with my drive.
Okay. Oh shit, that was a very short clip.
Yeah, you can progress to a later one.
Yeah, so okay, so this one's pretty long, I think. Yeah. All right. Ooh.
So this is also the kind of towards the area where I found the dragon. This is another clip. I think.
By the way, something I don't think we've noticed is this is fully open world, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. It's open world, and the portion of the map you just saw is probably maybe like an eighth of the total world size.
Oh, really?
It's actually quite large, and I'm kind of staggered by like not only that, but it's not capturing any of my footage here, but I found a underground area that's like also like almost the size of the area of the map shown.
Oh shit! So it's got its own like to make a Skyrim reference. Like it's kind of like a Black Reach.
Yeah, a little bit. Like it's like a very big underground realm that I found.
Wow.
Where it's almost like the size of this open area that I've been
that's a great thing about FromSoft games, where it's like you know. They really do throw all sorts of shit at you, and it is very fun just like people in the community like figuring out man, that dude's creepy as hell, holy shit.
Yeah,
and then you just like find shit out. It's like, you know, are you about to get dabbed on here, or do you make it out of this?
I think I make it up.
Okay.
Yeah, so this part, I mean, I could have actually been mounted here. This is not there's mount restricted areas, like certain indoor spaces in like dungeons / mini dungeons you can't be mounted in, but this area I could have mounted up in. I just didn't for this.
I missed that. Orange Woman said they're ghouls, apparently.
You're right. So yeah, I guess to go back to the question of if they're human, I do think that those individuals are meant to be human, or the most human equivalent characters of the setting.
Because that's something Dark Souls games, like there's never actually been like real people in it. They're all like everyone's fucked up monsters somehow. Well,
I mean, so like I was saying about Dark Souls, those ones are hollows. So they're humans who lost a certain aspect of their humanity. But I have somehow screenshot there. I don't know why. And,
I just assume it's because you take like 1,000 screenshots in every game.
I do take a lot of screenshots. Yeah. I don't know why I screenshot at that moment. That's not really whatever.
Oh shit! So it just like your mount just materializes.
Yep, it's a spirit horse.
Oh.
And also it can double jump.
No, for real?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I was not excited about this game at all, but like to see y'all talking about it and then now watching it, I'm actually, oh yeah, now you're seeing it. This isn't my internet doing this. That frame rate was just actually bad.
No, it does get bad at points. Let's see if it shows. I think at this point I'm just kind of showing different areas and stuff, and that's kind of like in the map. And you can fast travel between your kind of bonfire equivalents in this game.
Right.
I think at this point I'm just kind of showing off this upper area here.
Yeah, neat saying everyone is undead, they can't die, but when you give up hope, you go hollow. Oh, is that Dark Souls or this game?
That's the Dark Souls lore. I don't know exactly how it's supposed to function in this one, but I feel like the conventions are pretty similar in this one. But of course, in Dark Souls, it serves as an analog for you as the player character too. Like if you give up and quit the game that's hard, then you're going hollow. So here's a little dialogue moment.
What the fuck is that thing?
She's a finger reader.
Finger reader.
Yeah.
That's a little creepy, dog. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's a creepy character.
There's a lot of creepy characters, and I made this observation earlier that there's the horror in this game, because it's not as like obvious as in like Bloodborne, for example, but it has a like kind of weird like Garden of Earthly Delights thing, like that kind of like very early like medieval kind of horror imagery almost in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I found after filming all this stuff much spookier areas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some pretty fucked shit that I found as I progressed further.
Is there any Clavo ass shit in it?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say there's a couple Clavo things so far.
Okay.
And it's also something that's really unnerving me is just not I legitimately just not being able to get a handle of what's going on in the setting, because I feel like there's going to be a bombshell at some point in the story where it makes sense and it's going to be a lot creepier because of that. You know, like. Because there's some weird shit. So there's some weird kind of elements in the story so far are things like apparently grafting limbs on each other and stuff.
I'm sorry, what?
Like taking people's limbs and grafting them to other people's bodies.
No, we good. We good.
A big aspect.
No, we good.
They also seem to like putting blades on animals. So there's like birds you can fight that have blades on their feet.
Well, that's just cockfighting.
And they swoop down and cut you up. I think at this part I'm just trying to find an item. I don't know. It's just footage of me exploring the world. Really.
Sure.
This is like one of the little roller beetle things I think that you have to get. That like give you weapon arts.
Oh yeah, like the crystal things.
Yeah, kind of like the crystal lizards, but in that game, in that series, they gave you upgrade materials, and this one they give you actual weapon arts, which are like new special moves for your weapons. Okay. Which gives everybody some reason to invest in their magic stat, just so they can get a longer mana bar. So they can do more of those, because even if they just want to use physical moves, it takes
right, because magic was such like a kind of a secondary thing in the Dark Souls games.
It used to be that magic was something that you did for like easy mode in Dark Souls. Is like, oh, I don't want to actually engage with the system, so I'm just gonna sit back and cast or whatever. Now it's like, well, it's kind of easier to weave in. Just looking over the cliff.
Yeah, I think that good.
And a lot of messages on the ground saying jump, like trying to get you to jump, because you know, people are used to there being hidden treasure, but in this game, of course, there's a lot of cliffs that will straight up kill you. The messages on the ground in general have been really funny so far in the game. A lot of jokes.
And this is still very much a Souls-like game.
Right, yeah, it's still going to be that kind of gameplay. And in fact, if I had to say, now that I've gone further than what's filmed here, I would even say that this game might actually be harder than any of the Souls games for me.
Really?
You know, I've played all 3 Dark Souls games.
Sure.
And I'm struggling more in this game in terms of just like progression and getting through certain enemies than I have in any Souls game, except for maybe when I played Dark Souls 1.
Right. What's your Invisible Ava kill count? I feel like it's 0, right?
It might be.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, well, I wouldn't. You know, why would I do something the most inefficient way, right? I'm a man of efficiency. So.
Because you're just that good.
Well, that's an interesting theory about it, you know, about how it works.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's just how it is. But go on.
Yeah.
Just goats. Was that just regular ass goats?
Yeah, there's like regular animals because you can gather and craft in this game too. So there's animals you can kill for their parts. There's plants you can gather as you run by, and you can do a lot of the gathering on horseback. So you don't.
So when you were just looking at the map there, you were saying that's what's just like 1/8 of the whole thing.
Yeah, I would say what I have revealed in this footage is maybe 1/8 of the total world map.
Holy
and that's just
shit.
like, and that's just like the surface of the world, right? Like, because there's that underground area I found that's quite large, and there's also a lot of mini dungeons and stuff that wouldn't really be marked on the map.
That's really interesting.
To underground space too.
I do remember seeing someone posting and saying that like initial gameplay reviews of it were like 60 hours. Like just to get through it.
One IGN guy who beat it said that it took him about 87 hours, but
Jesus
I don't
Christ.
feel like I don't think he probably 100% of the game, right? You know,
right.
Like main story plus random shit, you know.
So this might easily be like a 120-hour game.
Possibly, depending on how fast you play. Wow. This is the waifu, by the way. So this is kind of like your Firekeeper equivalent in this game. Yeah, she's all right.
Neat says IGN. Yeah, he just might be bad.
Well, that's possible too, but at the same time, I'm like 16 hours, and now I have fucked around a whole lot.
I am no maiden. Dropped. Roasty dropped.
Well, she's referring specifically to a plot. But okay.
Thank you for explaining it and making the joke funnier.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. All right, well, let's get down to brass tacks here. What are we saying?
Well, hold on. I wanted to.
Oh, you're not done?
Well, there's a little bit. You can skip ahead a little bit here if you'd like, because this is quite a long clip.
So I know she keeps sneaking.
You can sneak in this game. Stealth works.
That's crazy.
And so of course making less noise helps it, but you can sneak, and you can. I think at this point I actually fuck up backstabbing this guy. But I do test. I think a new weapon art here, maybe that thing where I just keep swinging. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's one weapon art that you can do. So it's like, you know, kind of like I don't know, that's a straight sword that I'm using now. A little bit further ahead, you might get to a certain boss, I think. But you can go back a little bit if you want to see like the intro and stuff. But
there's
a cutscene here, yeah.
So so there's like full ass cuts. Oh, good lord. Guy LeBron leaped. Holy crap.
Right. Yeah, there's there has been cutscenes for major bosses in Souls.
Yeah, but this seems like way more like cutscene than
the story does seem a little bit more cinematic in this one.
Yeah, that's think what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Margaret the Fellowman.
Yeah. This guy took me about 10 tries to beat, and this is my first
Good
attempt,
lord,
so
holy shit.
He's actually challenging because his left arm, and you see he actually has multiple extra arms, I think, but his left hand there can do like various moves of different weapon types, kind of through magic or whatever. So he has a pretty big move set, and he does a lot of like kind of delayed swings that are easy to get caught by.
Yeah.
Because when you're dodging and trying to respond to the animation, you expect it to come sooner, and then you already rolled, and then you get caught. So
sure.
But yeah, I get fucked in this one at some point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you seem to be doing good, except.
Well, yeah, except I'm only like 1/4 of the way through his health bar.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean that's Dark Souls. Oh yeah, there you go.
That I got caught there by.
Yeah, it just there it is. There it is. Oh, you got the flask off. Okay. I'm just waiting for you to die now.
Yeah, same. Well, I was gonna say one thing we didn't see. I don't know if it was one of the clips that wouldn't load or whatever, maybe the 360 clip. But yeah, so there's areas of like updrafts that your horse can jump up that like take you way up too. And it's always kind of interesting. There's a lot of like.
It sounded like there's almost some like Breath of the Wild elements in this.
Well, there's some like platforming stuff. So 2 won't load then, is what you're saying.
Let me refresh.
Yeah, try refreshing and just seeing if you can get 2 to load, just because. That there is some cool footage there if it will.
It won't load.
That's so strange because it loads when I navigate to it and try to open it from my end. So I don't know.
Send me like the direct link to it.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a second. I don't know if there's another clip you haven't played or something.
6, which is I think is fairly long.
Well, you can skip through it while we do this.
All right.
That might be the one where I show off the horse thing. I don't know. Or I think yeah. Okay, let me.
So is this you trying the boss again, or are you past the boss at this point?
I'm doing some other stuff here. I don't know if this is after I killed the boss or if I changed for a little bit to do something else. I don't really remember.
And I guess that's one of the good things about having an open world Dark Souls game is if you come up against a boss that you can't quite tackle, you're not at a dead end. You just go do something else.
Yeah, actually, I agree with the tweet I saw that was kind of describing the flow of the game being like the open world kind of supports gearing up to take on like the story dungeons and the mini dungeons and stuff. So like, because, for example, this area that I'm starting here where that boss was just now, what's kind of the entrance of it is like the first big real story castle you go through, and it gets quite difficult. So at multiple points I've gone out and like gathered more stuff and like leveled up a bit. I think here I was looking down. I think one of the other clips I filmed that we didn't see has me down on a beach way below this, and at that point there on that overlook I'm looking down at it just to kind of show the verticality of and that everything I saw from that vista there was playable area too.
Yeah. Whoa, hello.
Yeah. Oh, so you go in there and you get fucked. Yeah.
I like the classic "you died" is still there. That's good.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Here's this link. I'll put this in the stream segment thing.
All right. All right, let me see.
If it doesn't load, it doesn't load, but it has a good example of how cool mounted combat can be and stuff. So. Give it a second. Maybe it's just gonna take.
Yeah, there it goes. It's.
Yeah. So let's see.
It's only in 720. It's good.
Oh, whatever. 720 is fine. This part actually isn't great quality anyways because mounted combat specifically is where performance is the worst. I find.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
You're moving faster and it's just more flashy. Yeah. So this is very early game here. I went back to this kind of point just to show what it looks like. This is the kind of work before you get to the open world. And it just kind of shows the transition.
This game fucking loves elevators, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh god, there was one that underground area I was describing has like a 60-second like elevate, like it takes like a minute to get down. It feels like hell. It's like so long.
Yeah.
So this is where you actually come out here and you like first enter.
So that was the honest to god starting area then.
I mean, there's a little bit before that happens, but like after kind of tutorial type situation, you come through and
they have to hide all the DX12 shader loading.
Yeah, And then I think here, after I engage this mounted boss, and I actually kill it first try that I filmed.
Well, now that you're back at the starting point, this is a great point to kind of give us a little bit of the basic gestalt, though, of the story right now, so far.
Well, so as far as what we know on paper is the Elden Ring was kind of like, well, the Elden Ring and the Golden Order are these things that are talked about as if they're shattered, whether that's literal or like, you know.
Oh God, is that a swamp?
That's one swamp. There's two swamps I've encountered so far.
God,
this one's not nearly as bad as the other one. The other one, which is near that dragon that killed me, is more of the toxic swamp. That
God, it fucking loves the swamps.
Yeah. But yeah, so Golden Order / Elden Ring are these concepts that apparently have been. Oh, so this is mounted combat right here. This guy bodied me a couple times off camera last night, but this is the first time I encountered him earlier today.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big stuttery, by the way.
Yeah, it does get pretty rough here.
What card are you on?
I'm on a Radeon 570 4GB.
And what settings are you run? Oh my God, you can chop a tree down?
Yeah, a lot of the environment's destructible, and nice. It defaulted my settings to high. I could probably lower some, but like what the system chose for me was everything on high, with I think some dynamic resolution scaling enabled. But,
sure.
Or dynamic, whatever. Anyways, some sort of
for those watching, that's not the stream fucking up. That's actually.
No, this is some of the worst performance I've had in the game so far.
Yeah.
Because I think just. All the mounted stuff going on is rough for the game to rid of. And I have read, apparently some of this could be fixed in a patch pretty soon. Like some of the stuttering is actually not intended. And then also, I saw some like kind of some tricks too that you could do for improving performance too that I haven't tried yet. But specifically, I like this footage just because just mounted combat is actually super fucking fun. Like just be jump around, and then you can still dodge on the horse through like kind of a little leap forward. And I don't know, this guy does hit very hard, even though I mostly don't get hit in this particular take on him. He does like 1 or 2 shot you every time if you do get hit. So
the history though of the story,
the history, yes. So as far as I know, the Golden or Elden Ring somehow shattered, and that's pretty much the gist of it. Like basically there was Marika or whatever, who is like the kind of like the main I don't know, lore figure of significance in the past, somehow like passes away or disappears or some shit, and then kind of their successors that fight each other, and that leads to the whole thing being broken. And now the ones who remain are kind of there as like the assholes, kind of keeping things broken almost. And you as a Tarnished seem to be another subset of special individuals who appear and kind of are after them for some reason. That's kind of
now what is a Tarnished?
Well, it's hard to say because it's not as clear as how in Dark Souls, of course, you're just another undead who's chosen, right, and all that. Or in Dark Souls 3, where you're a there's a golden halberd.
Hey, I fucking Cody.
Oh, nice.
With the sub. Thank you very much.
Right. So, and then of course in Dark Souls 3, there's the Ashen ones or whatever who were previous people who sacrificed themselves for the flame, but were able to come back again because things got so desperate. In this game, we don't know actually a whole lot yet of what the Tarnished are supposed to be per se. At least not where I'm at in the story. It sounds like a lot of them were summoned kind of like almost like Isekai or something, like summoned from other worlds or something. Yeah, it sounds like they were almost summoned from other worlds or something, based on you encountering other Tarnished who kind of make it sound like they were up to other stuff in other worlds and then got summoned here.
Right.
So in a way, like this world kind of has this kind of like Midgard thing going on almost, where it's like a plane that sounds like it's maybe like central to some sort of like multiverse or something. I don't know. Like, because it sounds like all of these other Tarnished that are in the intra-cinematic came from different settings and came here or something.
Right.
So then you might be another one who's doing that.
Okay.
Which would be somewhat thematically appropriate, right? In the same way that a lot
Santa?
of this kind of in a lot of the story conventions in Dark Souls, of course, related to the idea of not giving up. And this one, I could see that kind of outsider take on the story in terms of your character's origin being kind of a metaphor for, this is like a new experience, right? Like I can see that kind of being what they're going for. Like, oh, you're entering this strange new world that's open, by the way, and that's I can see that being the story. I don't know if that's the case.
Right.
For sure.
Because it's just been out for what, 24 hours?
Basically, and of course, even if I had completed the game already, FromSoft lore is notoriously kind of complex and impenetrable and like hard to decipher. So
yeah, to put it lightly.
It's one of those things where like I'll probably infer certain things, but also there'll probably be some fucking YouTuber who puts out lore videos that actually.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the 7-hour video trying to explain this game's lore.
Right. So, in any case, I don't know if there's anything later in this video. I think that I don't know if I do the horse thing later in this one, but
Neat saying, boys, just found something worth buying Elden Ring for. You can invade other players with no notice to the invaded.
Huh? I didn't know that.
How does that work?
Unfortunate. I haven't actually done any invasions yet because it takes certain circumstances to get them. You need to enable a consumable item to first enable general multiplayer stuff, and then you have to, if you're solo, you have to activate a second item that sets you as open for invasion. They kind of made that concession to casuals where it's like, if you're a solo player, you can't really just be straight up invaded anymore unless you want to be.
Oh, okay.
But if you are co-oping, then you're automatically open to invasion, I think. So if you have somebody there helping you, then
wait, there's co-op in this.
There's always been co-op in Souls games, but yes, this one has co-op as well. And because it's
it looks like the this reinforcement system is pretty much the exact same as the other
it's
Souls
pretty
games.
Similar, of course. Like the items names and like how it works are slightly different, like always, but it's still fundamentally kind of the same idea. Interestingly, items, their scaling can be changed through what weapon art you put on them. Different weapon arts will cater to different scaling stats. So like if you put a weapon art on your weapon that does a magical attack, you can actually get magic scaling on an otherwise physical weapon, which makes your builds a little bit more flexible. Say you really like a special, you really like a special sword or whatever, but you're building in a different direction than what it scales with. You can kind of alter that a bit to make it more favorable to your build through weapon arts as well. So it's kind of the level of customization is really cool there. And of course, there's that choice of summoning spirits too, which can be customized. You get several talisman slots, which are kind of the equivalent to like rings in this game. I don't know, and also the character customizer is really good in this game too. When you make your character, it's very comprehensive compared to the older ones, and it's just higher quality. I mean, everything in this game looks a lot nicer than the last.
Yeah, I mean, obviously these clips aren't great resolution, but
yeah, they're not. I mean, yeah, there's a couple layers here of things being less than optimal, but like, if you can run the game on max, which will look even nicer than it does for me, and I'm already kind of blown away by it in many cases. And then, of course, if you don't have the performance issues, and if you're not watching it through a 720p like restream here, then it does look quite good.
Are you playing on controller?
I do use a controller, but actually, I would say that this game probably has the best keyboard and mouse controls of any Souls so far.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty low bar, so.
Well, just because there's just the way they've changed things around, and just that there are more buttons, it kind of makes keyboard and mouse make sense. So there's more things to bind now. So keyboards are jankier than they used to be by necessity to have, or controllers are jankier than they used to be by necessity to fit everything. So it kind of equalizes it a bit more, I guess, now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can go even later in this clip and see if there's a point where I jump up here. I don't know if it was before this or.
Well, I did see you doing some of the double jumping a minute ago.
So that's double jumping. I wanted to show off how it looks when you jump up a cliff, because you can do that as well. But yeah, it's not important, I guess. People will see it if they play the game. It's just cool that like they. Here's
is this an invasion?
This is an NPC invasion. So it's not like like I said, I haven't actually really dealt with many invaders yet because I've just been focused on figuring out what the fuck I'm doing in PvE so far. But once I get the hang of all that, I will be doing a lot of PvP too. This is just this is actually where you find one of the items that lets you invade other people or be summoned for like duels and stuff. So this guy's kind of guarding that, and I think this guy actually manages to kill me once too.
He looks pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I think the early game in this, and partially it's
because what?
Yeah, that's his weapon art, I guess.
That's pretty cool.
I think. Yeah. So, and weapon arts can be swapped on weapons, of course, like I was saying. Okay. So, some other weapons besides his hammer could possibly use that once you unlock it or something. But yeah, early game in this one seems a lot more challenging compared to some other Souls games, actually. And partially it's because you have so much freedom that maybe you just go into areas that outscale you, and it's not totally clear all the time where you need to be for your level, right? Because it's not as linear.
Which was possible in some of the Souls. You could accidentally, or not accidentally, you could just...
They still had sequence breaks and stuff, right?
Oh,
That's still a possibility.
Well, I mean, not even sequence breaks, I wouldn't call. I mean, they're just straight up like... almost like, to go back to talking about World of Warcraft, like World of Warcraft level, like, you put like a level 60s on next to like the level 1s on.
Right.
There were a couple, or maybe I'm just making that up and don't remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, memory's kind of a fake made-up thing.
I don't know, but I mean, there were some ways in like Dark Souls 3, for example, to do late game stuff really early if you knew what you were doing.
Okay. Maybe
so
that's what I'm thinking of.
It's possible in this game too, and I think this game will have a really interesting speed running kind of situation, just because those Souls games have always been popular for speedrunners.
Yeah.
And to have them, because you know,
I think, dude, you got dabbed on there at the end. Holy shit! Yeah. Nice.
I think in a way though, the constraints of having a more linear game kind of makes the path more obvious when you're speedrunning, right? Like now, I think there's a lot more room for kind of interesting experimentation with having the open world, but then still having to filter through certain story steps to actually complete the main story if that's your goal as a speedrunner.
Right.
But yeah, so it seems like it's going to take quite a while to beat the game. It's very good. Like Dizzy said in chat, it's very good.
No. Dizzy not say very good. He said so fucking good. So
right,
that's the seal of approval from him.
And the reviews have been almost 10s across the board.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It does seem like people have almost nothing but good to say about this. Like I haven't seen, other than like the basic journo takes about, you know, accessibility, it's too hard.
You like find out like Metacritic or something if you want to see all the scores.
Yeah. So
but yeah, and for the most part, I've seen journos haven't been as obnoxious about this one as previous ones, which is funny to me because I feel like this game actually has more potential to throw a really bad player into a difficult time because of just the lack of guidance, you know. But for the most part, the takes have been relatively fair. Oh yeah, you can fight a big ass bear. I killed that earlier.
Oh, they can't see that.
Well,
I'm pulling something up for something else in here in a minute.
I see. Okay. Well, anyhow, yeah. So very good.
Dizzy's saying calling it a fever dream. Do you think that's accurate?
That's what I said in chat earlier. Yeah, it feels like.
Oh, your cat. Setting... Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cat app guy.
Right. So I would say that the setting itself feels like a fever dream, just because like there's some really weird stuff, like some of the enemies you encounter and some of the stuff, like it's just, you know, I mean, of course, Dark Souls had some surreal stuff, Bloodborne had some surreal stuff, but those were kind of surreal in ways that you'd expect for like a dark fantasy / like a Lovecraftian setting, as those two kind of were. This one, like I was saying, is kind of, it just feels like it's pulling from something different in terms of the characterization of the setting and like the kinds of things you encounter. So that kind of makes it surreal. And then just the fact that somebody made a game that's ambitious, because once you're actually in it and you start uncovering everything, and you know you're 10 hours in and you've only explored a really tiny portion of the map, and it's been like just packed full of shit to do, and just the number of systems at play and so on, just the fact that they were able to, especially because, you know, I feel like Japanese companies who make games are historically very unambitious and unable to scale their games to new kind of levels in this way. So in general, it's like really surprising that something like this could ever be made. And then, of course, after years of hyping something like this up, to have it actually be real too, like it's all very surreal, and that's kind of why it feels like a fever dream to me. Is that just like the whole thing is kind of feels like it shouldn't even be real, both, you know, outside of the narrative, but also within the setting too. The whole thing is very surreal. So
right.
Yeah, it's a great time though. It's really fun. It feels kind of like you did, or like I did at least, playing the first Dark Souls all over again, where it's like, even though I know the combat systems a little bit from muscle memory and understanding and stuff, like from the previous games, so much is new, right? That it feels like a fresh experience again, and you feel like you're blind to kind of what could be possible and what could be going on, and like what you're supposed to be doing and all that, and as you might have the first time you ever played a Dark Souls game. So it's really nice. Yeah, it's great.
So, Elden Ring. If I can, man, this keeps fucking up. Elden Ring. What are we giving it?
Okay, so we're doing the beef rating system, which is what's the top one there?
It's USDA Prime.
Right. I feel like this has to be a Prime because
that's good because I already have the graphic for USDA Prime on screen.
Okay, good. Yeah. I mean, you probably knew I wasn't gonna rate.
I'm not even playing it, and just from what I've seen, I'm going to tell you.
It has to be Prime because both personally, because I've always loved this series. It's like my favorite gameplay or video game series in general, right? But like people also, people just agree that this is very likely going to win Game of the Year for a lot of people.
Well, it's so crazy because it seems like this is like super, super ambitious, but it seems to be working.
I think it kind of satisfies something that a lot of people like, which is the feeling of, an open world, a sprawling experience that doesn't hold your hand, right? That has, because I think a lot of open worlds get lost on that step. They're like, okay, we're going to make a big world, but that's kind of all they do. And then like Ubisoft, they just populate it with the same fucking like, little hub you run into and like take over, and like that's what you do over and over, like 1,000 times. And that's the overworld. Like it's just it's cool to have something like that where you still go and each little environmental feature is a unique set piece, right? And like there's kind of like Metrovania aspect that like Metroidvania aspect that Souls games have always had, where it's like you have a specific weapon you want and you can always find it in a certain spot, right? And like that kind of element of like being able to like strategize your run around that too, but to have it integrated into the open worlds, it's just a very unique synthesis, because open world games oftentimes just get like kind of lost in that one step, right? And I'm sure Breath of the Wild is very good. I never played it. I think it was probably one of the most praised open world games I've seen otherwise. And of course, this is kind of doing a similar thing, except I think it's even less hand-holdy, right? And it's more of like a choose your own adventure, infer what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go type situation, and just fucking figure it out, It feels like a genuine old school kind of RPG experience in that way, without quest logs and so on. So yeah, I can see why people are raised highly. So yeah, it's a Prime for me, and I think that probably the general public will probably agree too in the end. And I wouldn't be surprised if it, like I said, it wins Game of the Year for a lot of people in places and award shows or whatever. And I think it'll possibly be remembered as one of the greatest games of all time, just based on this early reception.
Okay,
because it's been a long time since I've seen something get this level of hype.
Think it's gonna win a BEEFY?
I think it has a very good chance.
That's what I was actually letting. I'm actually going to go ahead and add it to the 2022 candidates.
Yeah. So if another game comes out that I feel like could really rival this, to me personally, at least, this would have been a very insane year for gaming.
This falls under single player, right?
I would say it's more fair to call it single player, especially because of the steps they've made to make it more of a process to get involved with. Like random multiplayer. Yeah, it could be co-op.
Saying co-op. Yeah.
I would say the pure experience of playing it is single player.
I think the differentiation for us is what is it intended to be? Is it intended to be a single player game, or is it intended to be a co-op game?
That's really going to depend on who you ask.
I guess that's true. Fuck. But I guess so then I guess I should specify it's like that's still a good point. Fuck.
Because some people will just co-op the whole game and be fine with it. I guess for me, when I play these games, I want to experience
the only reason this doesn't BEEFY if they cold drop WoW too. Well, you and me both, brother. Both.
Well, I'd be really shocked if current Blizzard could pull off a WoW 2 that beats Elden Ring.
That's true, because anything that comes out from Blizzard now is not Microsoft Blizzard, it's Blizzard. I've never played a Souls game co-op. Yeah, me neither. None of my friends play games with me.
I would say that most people who are really into the series co-op sometimes, but they don't consider it the main gameplay loop, right? Like I think they'll do it for fun, and I think you're more likely as a Souls enthusiast to help other people in co-op than you are to summon people for co-op.
This guy calling me a Souls enthusiast. I'm sorry. What's your Invisible Ava kill count?
Hey, look, that's not important here. Look, okay, so maybe if you want to prove how good you are, you have to get Elden Ring and do some other insane challenges.
That's true. And now in the streaming age, because that was like pre-streaming. Well, that wasn't pre-streaming.
Yeah. By the way, you can find deals for like $10 off in some places. So if you do ever get it like anytime soon, you can find deals for it on other sites like key resellers and shit.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say. I was gonna say. I wonder, can I get? It won't actually take me to the Stream Deck. Can I use my gift card?
Oh, what?
Because I got a gift card. I wonder if I can put my gift toward the Stream Deck. That'd be a good use of it.
Maybe. Well, if you can't, you can always put it towards Elden Ring. So
that's true. Well, what is Elden Ring? I feel like it's more expensive than other games I've been recently. Right? It's like 16. Is it 69? Or is it 59?
It's 59. It's like normal.
Why the fuck is it mixed?
God. It's probably some stupid bullshit with like performance stuff that people are having issues.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Look. I know it started a little bit in the footage, but like.
Yeah, that seems to be the recurring trend. Is people saying it's. Yeah.
I mean, I'm on like not remotely close to up to date like GPU bullshit. The RX 570 is quite old at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's even behind what I had, and I was having trouble with my old card.
But I'm still able to run the game acceptably, in my opinion, on
high.
It
looked okay.
Like, yeah, it started, but it was also made worse by me doing activities that specifically would cause that, plus recording at the same time, which I think has a little bit of overhead on a machine.
Yeah, well, you were using Relive, though, right?
Yeah. Which, I don't know if that's more or less optimized.
Holy fucking shit.
Hmm.
I just had a fucking heart attack.
Oh.
Holy shit. So we were talking, and, to go back to something earlier, we were talking about, Discord is implementing these new rules and stuff. I saw my Discord screen go gray. And I went, oh, shit, I got banned again.
I've had a couple, like, glitches like that on Discord where, like a server, like, blips for a second or something in a weird way.
Mine just, went into a load thing, but you were still talking through all of it, so I don't know what the fuck happened. But Dizzy saying, had some issues on my 3080 with something. Yeah. Holy shit! if it's stuttering on a 3080, then it's just bad optimization.
That's why I think they're just gonna have to patch it eventually, right?
Right.
So it's gonna come. So it's just kind of like, it just seems dumb to me.
Do not come.
Do not come. If you're somebody who's on like borderline hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a game just came out. A lot of games come out with performance issues. That's unfortunate. I know
it happens all the time. Oh shit! Was that a giant crab?
Oh yeah, there's giant crabs. I fought one.
Or is that like a lobster or like a crayfish?
There's a crab for sure.
What in the fuck? Man, this is some crazy ass shit.
I'm telling you, the setting is very... It's like one of those things where even if you didn't specifically enjoy these types of games, you could enjoy the open world, get over leveled, and still run through it kind of easily, Like...
Right. So would you say... So from what it sounds like, because earlier you said this game is definitely more challenging, would you say that this game definitely has more like, what in the name of God?
I think it has more opportunity to overcome that.
That's what I was going to say. It has more breadth. So while Dark Souls games have really just been one Cajun representation, finally, a game I can see myself in, most Dark Souls games have had one difficulty, and that's hard.
Right.
And you can't really get around that. But with this, it sounds like you can just over-level everything and then just breeze through it.
Which I mean, was possible in previous games, but it was less fun in previous games because that would involve just killing the same enemies over and over.
It required grinding.
This one, you can go and do all the random open world shit and just kind of incidentally get over-leveled eventually if you enjoy doing the open world stuff enough,
Yeah.
So, and because enemies don't scale up to you, you can go off script, fight things that are too hard for you, but you can also go off script and end up fighting things that are too easy for you if you want to, right? Like if you want to level up and be over leveled and have an easier time with enemies because of that, you can totally do that, and that's just fine. I think that's the fun thing though, is that it makes the experience organic, right? And again, I think these days with everything being so kind of systemized, things being so like, scaling is something that a lot of games would do now to try and make the challenge consistent.
I need you to be honest with me real quick. Is there a giant fucking spider in this game?
I actually have not encountered
because that looks like spider eggs, doesn't it? Oh, no, there's ants. Oh, okay. Sorry. Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I actually genuinely, surprisingly have not encountered a spider yet in the game.
Praise Jesus.
Which, to be fair,
praise Jesus.
The history of spider spiders in Souls games. There's Quelaag and such in the first game. The second game does have a giant spider too. Yeah.
Quelaag, was that the one that had the
woman upper body? Yeah. And then I guess the third one did have the kind of spider monster in the cathedral too.
Oh, and Bloodborne had that terrifying fucking.
Right. I can't make any promises that there's no spiders in this one, but I have not encountered a literal spider. The closest thing yet is there's an NPC in the first story castle that has a spider-like appearance because he grafted a bunch of arms to himself. But
that's somehow worse.
But he's not a spider. He's just a man who's crawling on his many arms. So
that's somehow worse. Yeah. That's somehow worse.
I don't know. It didn't trigger my arachnophobia.
Okay, well.
So
if you're fine, I'll probably be fine too.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, it's fun, and the thing is too, people who are challenged in this game, getting back to the challenge question, is of course co-op is an option still. You know, a lot of things you can still opt in to make the experience easier. So I think it has a good level of choice, and I mean that's what I think it should be. Is it shouldn't be a difficulty setting you select, and you shouldn't get to choose bitch mode. You should have to figure out, okay, how do I game the system?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, I hate to do it to y'all. I need to put a disclaimer up on screen that says Taylor's about to mention RuneScape, but
right,
it is a little bit like RuneScape, to where, can the game be extremely easy? Yes. Can it also be extremely hard? Yes. It's really up to you. Just go do whatever you want. There is zero linear path. It's not, In
a way, though, it does make it a fair comparison, because RuneScape has a similar thing of being a large world you can explore with many, and it does the thing, whereas in a game like WoW or whatever, right, the quests are really samey, doesn't fucking matter.
5 bare asses, dude, need them.
Right, there's no interesting set pieces really in the game. It's just the same fucking zones, the same mechanics copied and pasted, whereas RuneScape has a thing where, even though the core combat and gameplay is different, the world itself, how it functions in terms of being a large open world that you can explore.
You say it's different. That's a strange way to say fucking garbage.
Well, whatever. The point being that, certain systems are different, but there are analogs there in terms of there being discoverable stuff that is static, will always be the same. You can create a new character and optimize a route if you want. You can, you can make your own challenge within that world, because
Dizzy's saying he found an enemy that looks like that guy in the game with the spider arms. Unless I misunderstood what he said. To that same enemy in the actual game.
He probably ran to the guy I was talking about.
Yeah, but it sounds like he said he was an enemy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, I mean, that sounds like that's the great thing about Elden Ring, is that two people, roughly the same hours played, have had vastly different experiences.
No, because I know Dizzy's ahead of me in the actual story, but then he's backtracked and seen stuff after me that I saw earlier.
Our founder slot's still open.